Good. Raj, we're here at Keswick and we're at our designated motorcycle bay, which is secure parking. But we have got an issue about it. Could you tell me what it is and what you've done about it?
Yeah, back in the 1990s, West Cumbria Motorcycle spoke with then Aldell Hurricanes, and they established a secure motorcycle rail for visitors and local motorcyclists to come to the area and be able to park themselves securely off-road, so we can access the town and the amenities in the town, which we open to visitors and locals. And it's become the hub of the local motorcycle community over summer times when we meet and meet friends or to ride out something like that. However, in recent years, with the last few years of poor weather, the surface, the tarmac surface of the secure motorcycling area has degraded to a point where there's ruts and holes and potholes, and it's causing a few motorcyclists to become unsteady on the bikes when they're either riding out or manoeuvring their bikes to the park in the correct manner. And we've had several members report back to sort of near misses with their bikes that not chipped and potentially problems. So we've then spoke to common service
It has done, yeah. So I'm Councillor Denise Rolo. I'm the portfolio holder with responsibility for highways. And we had a conversation about this. And if you recall, back in, I think, the early parts of last year, we had issues in Whitehaven which we managed to resolve. And I think obviously it's the same with this, and it's highlighting these issues to us that are important. Obviously, motorists' safety, is a priority for us, and bikers' safety. I was brought up with motorbikes, so I know how important it is. And having looked around this area this morning, it's clear to see that it's not in a very good condition, and it's a little bit embarrassing. So obviously, I've already took a lot of photos. I've already sent them on. And I think we just need to keep having those conversations and say exactly what do you want, rather than come and fix it. Is it suitable for your needs? So it's probably worth a conversation with the mag group to actually say, right, how can we improve this? Is there anything else that you need? Obviously, we do know that a lot of the motorcyclists do come to Hot Tram Roll. It is a meeting point, and it's important that we do have these facilities available for people.
Absolutely down the council for carrying out the repairs to allow the street and Duke Street parking in Whitehaven and West Cumbria. That's been very beneficial to the local motorcyclists, especially for people who live in the town and work in the town of Whitehaven, and for visitors to the town centre, because it's a maritime town centre, and it attracts a lot of people to the coast as well as the lakes.
And what I do is I'd encourage Mag Group to actually keep in contact with us. Let's have regular meetings and just make sure that we can get the area safer for motorcyclists.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would encourage the Cumbrian motorcyclists to follow our Cumbria Mag and West Cumbria Mag Facebook pages, because that's where we'll be looking and we'll find what people are saying on those pages.
Absolutely.
And I know Denise is a follower of that page too.
Yeah.
And it'd be great to have some improvements in this area. Two other national campaigns we're doing is one on potholes. So could you give any advice to people about on potholes?
The advice we'd give is if everybody can report them, reporting them, they'll be dealt with as soon as we possibly can. The turnaround's usually within 14 days of fixing a pothole. The more you can report them, the quicker we can get out there and deal with them.
Yeah. So if I reported one and then I could get my mate to report the same one, would that actually improve?
No, it doesn't work like that. So when it's straight on the system, it's there to be recorded. So that's the Cumberland website. We put them on the Cumberland website, exactly where they are, and then we log them on the system, and then we can go out and fix them.
And if after 14 days, would it be beneficial for them to get in touch with their local Cumberland councillor, who will then pass it on to you?
yeah, if they want to speak, if it's a problematic area, then yeah, by all means speak to the local councillor.
Okay. And the other national campaign we're doing is Let Us In, and that's all about bus lanes. So it'd be nice for me to have a meeting with you to see if we can do a trial project to see if we can allow motorbikes into the Carlisle bus lanes.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, also the signage. We actually thought that you would have it last time. It says one second. Possible we'll have a bit more time.
That's
Insist on warm. Here it is, there's more wind.
So you were crying the other day about it sleeting down on you? Just like I heard you say it the other day. All right.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. We have Mark Jenkinson, the current MP for Workington. That constituency is changing. When the general election comes along, it'll be Workington and Whitehaven, but you're standing for Pennington and Solway.
My constituency becomes Pennington and Solway and loses Workington to the former Copeland constituency.
Yeah. And then we've got Dave Surtees, who's standing for Reform UK, who's standing for Workington and Whitehaven. Thank you very much for coming along. This is an Easter egg ride, but obviously from the Motorcycle Action Group, we like to get involved in a bit of politics. So right off the bat, I want to ask you, because you both parties are going to be standing in the general election, what are your pro-motorcycling policies? I'll start with that one.
So I prefer to look at it as pro-driver policies all round. We've seen what the action will take against Labour councils introducing low traffic neighbourhoods, clean air zones, anything that makes it more expensive for drivers to drive or motorcyclists indeed to ride. We've seen action on fuel duty. It hasn't risen in the last 14 years as it was planned to do under the previous system when it ratcheted up. So we stopped that as soon as it came in. We've kept that low for the last 14 years. You saw on Friday a colleague of mine introduced a bill to reduce the ULEZ zone in London, for example, to send a message to mayors who want to introduce these ultra low emission zones and charges on some of the lowest paid. Now we won't stand for that. The government backed that bill, and that was talked out by Labour politicians in the House of Commons. So they're looking at other mechanisms now. But overall, I think anybody looking at it from the outside would agree that we've taken a much more pro-driver turn in recent months and years. We've seen the targets that were going to be imposed on low-emission vehicles shifted backwards. We've seen, obviously, we've got to recognise that not everyone, while electric vehicles, for example, turn out much cheaper per mile than petrol vehicles, there are things like motorcycles which are going to take a lot more time to get into the place where we need them to be, where bikers want them to be particularly, and there'll be a lot of bikers who don't want to give up internal combustion engines for electric electric vehicles as well. So we've got to recognise that as we move forward.
Thank you very much, Mark. Obviously, we talked about the general election, but what you've just put in as well, we've got mayoral elections around the country and the next time commissioner elections too. So there's plenty of elections going on in 2024. David, could you tell me what your party stands for motorcycling?
For motorcycling, our party doesn't believe in net zero. We're going to cancel net zero from day one. So you can have a big motorbike as you want, gentlemen, and you'll be happy to have it. We're going to immediately reduce fuel duty by 20 pence a litre without the tax off the road. So we just believe that net zero is the biggest travesty we can do to our populace. Why do you make people colder, hungrier and poorer by if net zero was so fantastic, why are they giving massive subsidies to all these companies just to go carbon free? And then you look at the likes of China. Do you think Putin, when he's making another missile, is going to go, I can't make it stay, lads, I think that we've got too much carbon. So if you look at Titan, when he's building another nuclear powered aircraft carrier, do you think he's going to say, no, he's making over 300 power stations, coal-fired power stations in the air. So all we're going to do is make our economy worse and sooner, because both the Tories and the Labour are following this absolute stupid going in next year.
My second question to you both is, and you've been talking quite a bit about that, David, is net zero and the relationship it has to the internal combustion engine. Obviously, last year, back in December, we had a vehicle emissions trading scheme, which basically stands out to be sales quotas. Now, that's only for cars and vans, but it wouldn't take long to get motorcycles to be put into that legislation. So where do your party stand on net zero? Would you like
So there's currently no plans to expand it. I set out my thing on internal combustion engines in the last question. I think we've got to recognise that the fossil fuels won't be around forever. If we're reliant on imports, we saw what happened with COVID, we've seen what happens when Putin wants to invade other countries, then fuel prices shoot through the roof. I've got a hybrid car, I get the best of both worlds. I get to run about on electric, I get to run on petrol, depending on which is best for the journey I'm doing or the cost. But the fact is that it costs me probably 1/4 to run on electricity than it does to run on fuel, and that's using gas-fired power stations. We're just about to build a lot more gas-fired power stations to ensure that we continue to provide electricity. So I think it's about choice for people, not removing that choice for people. I think the market was moving to electric vehicles. There's some changes again this year on EV markets. But I think we've also recognised that there are people like motorcyclists that are long haul journeys, that are fire engines, ambulances, things that are used, vehicles that are used 24 hours a day, wagons that will not end up being battery vehicles. I think we should progress, for example, hydrogen combustion engines for things like that, which gives us a lot more options, gives us the ability to use excess power when the wind is blowing, for example, so rather than constrained wind turbine, just shift it to electrolysis for hydrogen. That gives you a similar, that gives you lots and lots of options going forward. What we mustn't do is pick winners, pick technologies as winners. The market will dictate whether it's bikers, whether it's drivers, whether it's hauliers, they will dictate where internal combustion engines go ultimately, whether we need to use synthetic fuels or hydrogen or whatever that might be.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Science will come up with the answers.
So we talk about net zero by 2050 and look, I'd love to get on a stage and debate this all day long. Net zero by 2050, that's 26 years away. Technology will provide the answers. We'll get there regardless. That's the current target in law is 2050. We'll shift that if we need to. I don't think we'll need to. I think technology will do that for us. That's what it's all about. When we talk about subsidies to green industries, but we are allowing innovation in green industries, R&D, so that those things can make it to market. And then, like I said to you, the market will understand.
Thank you very much. David, is there anything you'd like to add about net zero and the internal combustion engine from your party's point of view?
The existing parties have always just kicked the can down the road. They've got no decent energy policy, never had done it. Because it's a 5-year cycle, you've ended up, and they're talking about going into electric cars and all this, and they're charging the cars very closely. We nearly have no lights in this country at certain times of the year because they're pushing for these, more cars without thought. We need to get rid of this net zero, because all we're doing really is we're buying in goods from elsewhere, and they say, oh, we're bringing net zero, but then you offset the carbon footprint to somewhere else where you're buying the goods from. Because they're using coal-powered fire stations to make it much cheaper, and so we're just ruining our industries with this chase for net zero. And you can check his head, but it's true.
That's where carbon border mechanisms come in. That's all part of what's happening now. There's discussions ongoing about carbon border mechanisms, so that we can ensure that British manufacturers aren't priced out by Chinese manufacturers. Not just emission standards, but also health and safety standards. And this is the argument about the coal mine at Whitehead, for example. Without importing coal for steel making, we will end up importing for people who have lower health and safety standards, lower emission standards.
You've just shut the last 10
I haven't shut anything. No, I haven't shut anything.
You've just let it
You're
happen.
probably talking about the Welsh government in Wales.
Well, it's just let it happen.
Right, talking about debating, my final question is, about 7 years ago when we had the run-up to the general election, because all the other previous elections have been snap general elections, so we never had much time to organise anything. 7 years ago, I organised a motorcycle distance. Would you like to be invited, and would you like to attend if I organised one?
I would certainly like to be invited, and I'll be looking very much invited to this.
Yeah, thank you. David?
Likewise, I'd love to see you.
And hopefully I'll be able to get a Labour spokesman for that event.